Hi everyone, I'm just going to wait till everybody kind of gets on. A couple minutes early just to allow for me to edit things and make sure that we're good. Hello. It's a little bit different setup because I can't really see who's on, right? So if you want to just comment, there's a comment section on the right. To say who you are. I'll try to see if I can get this. Hopefully this works. Can get started here in just a minute. I just wanted to start it a little bit early just to kind of make sure that this was going to work. It's a little bit different than how we've done it in the past, so it's very exciting. I'm very excited to share all this stuff with you guys. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Just going to give it a little bit more time. As you see, I have the painting here that I did for this month. It's pretty intense. So I can't wait to share the story of that with all of you. Like I said, if you are just now kind of coming on, if you could just say hi in the chat, it should be on the right side. Hopefully you can hear me. You can see that pop up. All right. I don't really know if anyone's on, so I want to give it a minute to make sure. I just want to make sure somebody is on so I can then just start, and we're going to do this. Let me see. Try that. It's a little bit more Hopefully that worked. I told you um, it was going to be a little bit. Yeah, I don't really know much about it. It's working. Yay. Great. Great. There's, man, well, we had done this before, and where, it's a private setting, but if you send people links, they should be able to get in with that private link, right? So I did that, and obviously that didn't work. So, yeah, technology, man. I've been having some issues. It's almost like Mercury should be in retrograde, right? So, welcome to August, basically energy check-in. We're doing a little bit different because, hey, life is always changing and we're always growing and expanding. And so what we do is always growing and expanding. Um, so this is set up a little bit differently. I can't see your beautiful faces, which I don't know if I like that or not. We'll see. But if you have any questions throughout this process, please write it on the side like Lindsay did over there. It's beautiful. Perfect. And this is the beautiful painting that I created for this event. So this was a pretty intense painting for me, and they wanted me to share this. So before we even begin, I do want us just to kind of breathe together, have a little bit of heart coherence. So if you just bear with me, we're just going to kind of do a little bit of a body scan. So if you could sit with your legs uncrossed, hopefully on the ground. Shut your eyes if you feel comfortable. Depends on where you're at, right? So just kind of breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're just going to kind of do a body scan. It helps me to use physical touch. You don't have to. You can just do this energetically. But I'm just going to kind of align my chakras. This is something you can do at home too. So I start by breathing in and finding the center of my crown, right? Breathing in, breathing out, and I'll start incorporating both hands and just kind of connecting both chakras. We want to kind of just align us by breathing in, breathing out, and just kind of feeling that they're connected. Both spots in your body, the third eye and your crown, are connected and kind of in harmony. And stay here until you need to. Okay, stay here until you kind of feel them in alignment, like in a line together. And then when you're ready, I kind of keep my hand on my crown, and then I start moving through the rest of my chakras. They wanted me to share this in the beginning, partly as a tool for those of you that don't have this tool, even if you're a Reiki practitioner or not. Just our intention alone of connecting with our energy centers, just to kind of keep us in alignment, right? So now I just kind of move through down to the throat. And I feel my third eye still because it's part of this line. It's in harmony with all of these other spaces, right? Breathe in maybe for 3 counts on each spot. Really slow down your breathing, your heart. Now, if you've lost sight of one of your spots, right, your third eye or your throat, that might just be something that needs a little extra love or attention. So just kind of move from your crown and move to here. Whatever you need to kind of help align. It's your heart and your solar plexus, bright yellow. It's right above your belly button. Tap just to kind of awaken. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, just to kind of release the day, release the thoughts. From our solar plexus, we move to our sacral, which is right above your pubic bone, basically, kind of where your hips are at. You don't have to touch there if you can't get to it or whatever. You can just energetically hold that. Parts of your body might be starting to activate. You might be aware of things that you weren't aware of before, maybe tensions and such. Just release them, breathing them out. And then for our root, I just kind of put my hand on my thighs, like in the middle between my knees and my hips, and I just kind of feel into the ground all the way down to my feet. Thanking Mother Earth for being here, thanking our beautiful loving guides and angels for being here and just showing up for ourselves today and allowing us to receive and hear what it is that we need to receive and hear and trusting that process. It's so beautiful to be able to even interact with all of you in this way. Thank you. Go back up to your head, to your heart. So, feel a little bit different. Maybe you're still breathing. I mean, I hope you're still breathing. But maybe you're still aligning your bodies. Just come back to me when you feel ready. So we have a lot to go over. They really are excited. You guys can hear me well? I hope that you can. Just give me a thumbs up or something, because I don't know. You can hear me okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. You're still breathing. Good. Don't stop breathing. I don't want that on my watch. Okay, so this painting, it's been a while since I've done these, and I think everything's always perfect and beautiful in timing. And I've been changing a lot and growing a lot, and the earth has, and the planet has, and I'm sure you all have, right? So this painting was a very powerful one for me personally. I was really like scared throughout the whole process, meaning there was trepidation, and that's part of this month's message. So these energy updates is about basically what we're holding collectively together. And though we are all experiencing different aspects of these things, it's kind of like we're still holding these things together, almost like the bigger picture of the energy that's going on the planet and together as our collective consciousness. So um, we all have a different relationship even with this painting, right? And what these symbols mean and even what the energy is. And so regardless of where you are in this process, we're still kind of holding it together, right? When you have a coin, there's different sides of the coin. And in that way, that's what they're saying. It's like we're all kind of, no matter, even if some of this resonates with you, there could be an opposite and equal participation in it, if that makes sense. Meaning you might be feeling great while others are not feeling so great, depending on how your relationship is with the energy that's going on. And this month there is a lot of change going on, and there's a lot of upheaval of past lives. There is an awareness of this feminine energy, and that's partly what this is all about. And when I say feminine energy, I mean it within all of us, no matter what our gender is. We talked a lot about this years ago, saying that the femininity, the South was going to become the North. Um, the Southern Hemisphere was moving to the Northern Hemisphere, and vice versa. So in the Northern Hemisphere is known as like having a more of a masculine energy. This is where most of our modern cultures exist. This is where this masculinity has kind of dominated, not in a bad way, but just kind of dominated. It's advanced us in technology and intellect and things like that, and it's really served us well. But this awakening, this earth awakening, is all about the femininity. And so there's a lot there. And along with that, Uranus, however you want to say it, is in retrograde. It just started, and it's in Taurus, but it's really meant to kind of push us out of our comfort zone and to kind of get comfortable with chaos and our wildness, which is part of this femininity. My guides say that we have no idea really what the power of feminine really is like. And we're just beginning to just kind of like get the tip of the iceberg with it. So in that way, even with the alignments of the planets right now, it's really talking about this femininity, this unearthing, which is this wildness, which is the opposite of all of our cultures and how they've kind of programmed us. It's not order. It's not logical, right? It's like trying to explain to somebody how and why you feel the way that you do. You just feel that way. And that's the feminine. It's really being comfortable with this unknown. It's seeing the invisible, which is, ironic, right? Because you can't see the invisible. It's invisible, right? So it's like this paradox. It's like almost it's being okay with the paradox, understanding the mastery and the wisdom in a paradox. That's what this femininity is. This is a time of empowerment. It really is meant to kind of push you into spaces in your being and in your life in very uncomfortable ways. It's like, even a couple years ago, we said, there's no more fence sitting. And we're like, yeah, okay, no more fence sitting. Yep, we can see where everybody's at. But now it's like, even the fence sitting within us, even though that was a part of it before, we're really they're really pushing us to really embrace our authenticity. And that authenticity is our femininity. The femininity within is knowing who we are, loving who we are. So whether you're male or female or however you identify, it's knowing who you are. It's knowing who you are and where you come from. Knowing and having an understanding of our connection beyond this physical body, right? It's this invisible space. Shamans talk about it. Lots of religions talk about it. Not necessarily modern day religions so much, but older religions. When we talk about mysticism and we talk about the Essenes, before Jesus, it's like the magic, really understanding the importance of the offbeat. In our culture, we've really been focusing on the sound of this drum beat and not even giving any value to the silence, the space, the silence that's giving it the sound. And part of this feminine, and we're going to get to all of this, is embracing and understanding the power of that silence or that invisible space. So, for you personally, for all of us personally, we are learning to embrace really uncomfortable spaces. Like in this way, it's not men or masculinity, but it's the masculinity even within us that opposes this space. And when I say opposes it, it's part of our programming, right? And this is collectively what we're really working through together, really embracing how we feel, what we just know, our spirituality, and really getting comfortable with being seen everywhere, even within us. And I say that because everything outside of us is a reflection of that, right? So if you're thinking somebody else outside of you is not going to support that, it's really just you. There's a part of you, or you think that it's going to be judged. That's just you. That's just you. And really taking responsibility and allowing yourself to be your authentic self. That's really what this is. And I know those are simple things, but that's so powerful. It's so powerful to really know who you are. And it isn't necessarily easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Because in there, and that's what Spirit's really saying through all of this, there are lifetimes and lifetimes of where we weren't loved and supported, where we abused power, or we dominated women, or we were afraid, or we were massacred, and like we're part of all of this whole of humanity. And so there's a lot of forgiveness work, not only in ourselves, but with others, our relationship with humanity. As much as it is about learning how to love and trust and all of this internally, but there is that forgiving and understanding what had happened outside of us or what we were part of, right? And really learning to trust that again. There's a lot in that. there's these belief systems in this modern thought that balance is good, right? Alignment is good. I mean, we just did that body check, right? In this femininity, it's understanding almost this craziness that both and all can exist at the same exact time, right? Why is balance good? You know, there is a powering the chaos. Like, we have to be chaotic. Even in nature, you know, there is chaos, but we don't even allow that in us at all, right? When, especially if we're crying or upset or going through something or whatever, and somebody else is witnessing that, if you're allowing somebody else to witness that, I'd usually do that in private. um, it's really uncomfortable for people to see that. And why is that? Because you know what that is? That's power. That's true power. That's just the tip of the iceberg of this femininity, this feminine power. And that's partly what this wave is in this painting. It's really trusting your flow of both the jaguar and the dragon. And the dragon represents our creative nature, the things that we want to create, the manifesting, the magic, the power that we have to create the world and how we want it. And the jaguar, the dragon in Mayan or Aztec, well, in Mayan it's Kukulkan. It's named Kukulkan, which is the god of creation. And in the Aztec, I think it's, don't get me if I'm say this wrong, but it's Quetzalcoatl, something like that. Quetzalcoatl, yeah, that's Aztec. Basically, it's the same god, the god of creation. But look at, they have it represented as a dragon, right? And remembering the magic in creation. You really do have to believe anything is possible, right? And that's part of this power that they're really starting to trying to get us become more and more and more and more and more aware of, right? And to recognize the power that's within us. And then you have the jaguar here, and it is typically in this southern culture, right? Is the god of the underworld. And again, it's power. It's really owning and mastering that subconscious, that darkness. It's really understanding the purpose of it. Having the wisdom and understanding that nothing bad is happening and everything is here to help you. And when you get to that space within us, within yourself, of really, really knowing why you're moving through something, because we all are connected to that space of knowing what that why and what that really is showing us and where it's hitting us, right? Where it's hitting us, where we can't lie to ourselves. We can for a while, I think. I've lied to myself for a while, for some years. But if I really asked, I tell myself, always. And you practice that, right? You practice really going within into your darkness and connecting into those spaces. And it's there where you become a master of it, where you become a master of your own underworld. Because then it can't control you and you become the one in charge. And you understand the purpose of chaos. You understand the purpose of a storm. You understand the purpose of pain. And so in that mastery of really owning and taking responsibility for all darkness, all within you, outside of you, we're all part of this, and understanding what we might be learning from it. And in that, choosing, using that creative power and choosing love and light. This month is about moving through your fear, moving, feeling your fear, feeling that fear and moving anyways. And in some ways, if you are comfortable, You're really being asked to get outside of your comfort zone. We're all being shooken up. And in a lot of ways, we want to stay in that comfortable space. We do. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no judgment. But there is something beyond that that's magical and powerful that you're being invited to embrace. This is where your purpose lies. If you thought your purpose was going to be where you felt good and you felt confident and then you're going to move, no. Purpose is all about feeling uncomfortable and unsure the whole freaking way and choosing it anyways. That's what this is about. It's still feeling your fear. Yeah, I am afraid, or yeah, I'm insecure. But man, I really want to go on TV, or I really want to start that sport, or I really want to do whatever. That's really where we're being pushed. And the planets are all in alignment for this. It's all in alignment. And it's feeling that fear and choosing it anyways. That's power. And that's the invisible space. That's the magic. And that's really learning how to trust that spiritual space. This unseen. This, hey, I know I'm going in the right direction. Something's pushing me here. But it's also taking the time to do that. Slowing down. Really getting to understand your own rhythm. And I know who's on this call. I know everyone that's here, and you guys are all doing such a freaking fantastic job of like watching you guys change and grow. It's been so awesome. And when I say to you, or even who's listening, if this is being seen later, they want more. They want more. You are wanting to push you more. This is you might have needed a breather, all right, but it's time to get back in it. Because the life that you want, it's in this space, it's in this uncomfortable space. It's about believing in your dreams and starting to, like the never ending story, like create the world that you want. And that's part of the energy of this. If you've ever seen Never Ending Story, if I've told you 5 million times to watch this movie, maybe one day you'll watch that movie because I love it. It's one of my favorites. This femininity is about really connecting with the earth. And that's another message that's part of this month is really, and I can feel you guys, all of you are really connected with the earth, but now feel it with each other. It's like, this is what I mean by this femininity, okay? And I didn't know I was going to do this, but whatever. But it's like I can connect, even though you might not know each other. You can connect and feel these other people, and you can feel their connection with the earth in different ways. And this connectivity and this invisible thing that I'm kind of helping hold right now for you to witness is this power of the femininity. And like I said, you can be a man and do this, but it's gentle. There's no judgment. It's really, really seeing the light and the love in all things. Yeah, and you can see, even by connecting with all of us together, it becomes a force. It becomes very powerful. And then we can take that and send love to the planet. We could take that collectively and help balance each of our bodies. Seeing that. But this is just the beginning. It's like we have to get so comfortable with the uncomfortable. We have to get so comfortable with being wild. And what I mean is about not caring what we look like, Not playing by these rules. We play by so many rules. We conform. And as soon as we conform, in any way, really, we lose our individuality, we lose our authentic voice. And I'm not meaning that we're not in alignment with somebody else, but we're all so unique and special. We, generically speaking, we all, including myself, conform a lot. And I know we have to function in this world or whatever your brain is telling you. But the more we get comfortable in this wildness, more in alignment with our actual natural rhythm, our natural rhythm. And that's what Spirit kept saying. It was like, we really don't have an idea. We conform so much. And though I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, right? I'm talking to people that really focus on being their authentic self and cultivating this, myself included, right? Normally, when we're this weird that I'm talking about, like this kind of weird, normally in a lifetime when we're that weird, we are kind of um, outside of society. When we've had these experiences before, when we were shamans or we really had our gifts, and we were healers, or we were seers, or whatever, we were kind of ostracized and kind of outcast. And there was a purpose to that energetically because it was hard to hold that frequency amongst others. But we would go outside of the circle of culture and society. We'd be kind of on the outskirts. We'd be hermits. Whether it was we would intellectualize and we really had to get these ideas out into the planet, we would become hermits. We would be outcasts. We'd be on the outside of it. And they're saying we're all that weird. And we really need to embrace that more and more. In this time, we're not meant to be hermits. We're meant to really just get our freak on with each other, I guess. Oh, that's funny. Because really, ultimately, we're ready. Because as soon as we allow ourselves to get outside of this, we're going to create a new rhythm, a new way of functioning, where we can really see each other's strengths and then work with those strengths and create solutions to things. And I know I've talked about that many times. Like, what are these solutions? We need to get there. We need to get so comfortable with our own knowledge and trusting in this space that I'm talking about, this femininity within ourselves, and where we trust it, right? So completely, where we allow others to be the same. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I am saying it, and you are hearing these words for a reason. Like I said, when I first started this painting, my gifts are expanding just like your guys's, right? Like, so I'm like moving into this and I'm like, all right, I'm going to channel this painting, right? So I go into meditation and bam, it was so powerful. I saw this whole thing. Okay, now normally I don't really see the whole thing, right? I get steps and then steps and then steps. So now I see this whole thing and I'm not just seeing it, but I'm hearing these voices and they take me into this space, into South America, which I feel like is Peru, but I've had a connection with Peru before, so I was pulling on my Akash. And just the power of these things. I did not study this culture previously. I was shown a jaguar, I was shown a sculpture, I was shown a dragon. Now, to me, in my logical mind, I'm thinking this is kind of weird, and I know I've been practicing this for years now. But come to find out through research, because I like that part of my brain too, I'm logical. Through research, this is exactly embodying South American spirituality. I did not know that they even believed in dragons. That was a big thing for them. I had no idea. So just for me, it was like confirmation of just the power of what was coming through. And by connecting this painting with South America, it pulls in that energy and ties it with the North, even more so. But you see this path, and this path actually turns into a crater or like a crack. because we've never been here before. It's not about embracing the femininity of what they knew in South America. We need to remember that, all of us. We all do, as a collective. If you feel called, right? We all have free will. But we're not meant to go back and relive that life. We've evolved, right? We've evolved our consciousness. We actually can hold more light now than before. Just like we had to be hermits before. Now we don't have to be hermits. So though this is where we begin again. This path is unknown. And it is shaking the foundation of some of their beliefs. Like energetically back then, they had to enter, there was this give and take with spirit, right? There has to be this, they believed in sacrifice, blood sacrifice, lots of them. And obviously we moved out of that. But even having to have that energetic exchange. Now we do it differently. It doesn't have to be so dense. It doesn't have to be a physical form. It can be our energy, right? Now it can be a lot lighter, a higher frequency. But that exchange, that process of exchange is being brought up here. This abundance, this is an abundance frequency, besides some of the storytelling in here. This perfect balance between creation and understanding our darkness and light, right? It almost has this figure 8 DNA kind of esque energy, right? This ease of movement. There's no resistance here. You don't feel any resistance. And that's the feeling that they want to have within us. I'm really uncomfortable. When I started this painting, I was crying and I was like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And that's all I could say. And that's all I could feel. And that's what they're saying about this month and the energy that's going on here is this fear. When we're faced with our power and our own light, our fear and our darkness comes to the surface. That's just how it works. So in essence, I was holding a frequency that parts of me weren't necessarily ready for, or if there's such a thing as ready, because part of that uncomfortableness is part of that process. Part of learning how to love those parts, we have to be really, it's not gonna be comfortable. Growth implies discomfort. We're not where we used to be. We're moving into a space we've never been before. It's uncomfortable mentally. It might be uncomfortable physically. It's going to be uncomfortable emotionally. That's the space. That's this crack. It is shifting our foundation. We're no longer living in a space where even living logically even works. It doesn't work anymore. We're used to have a to-do list. Remember, I used to be able to live like I'd wake up at 6 a.m. I'd have all these things to do. I'd be so accomplished. Now I can't even do it. I literally can't even do it. Now I am productive. I'm never a lazy person. But it's all about feeling. What feels right for me today? And that's this new space. It's uncomfortable. And it doesn't make sense. And for those of us that struggle with this femininity, or for others in our environment that might struggle with this femininity, they might really have a hard time understanding this. We're changing the foundation. The energy of the planet is changing like the rules. What worked before doesn't work again. And to me, I'm just showing you this one lens of it being feminine and masculine. Partly so I can understand it. It's like this new way of being. Ultimately, when I say feminine, masculine, it really is just our being, and it won't be so segregated or separate. But for right now and where we are in the culture, understanding what I'm saying in this way is okay. Because it's through that femininity, through that mother's love, through that loving of all without judgment, women have a tendency to be able to access that quick. Because we have the power of creativity. Because we can create life. And because we can create life, right, we're closer to that essence of love. And so by using that as a pathway into how do I get there? It's really trusting this emotional space. And that's why Brendan and I preach so much about that. And probably other teachers out there, it's like, no, really trust this space. It doesn't make sense. It's the invisible path. It's the spiritual path. It's something you have to learn how to cultivate this inner guidance system of what resonates with you, what brings you joy, what is your heart like, what does your heart not like, and then back in the hell out of what resonates with your heart. The energy of the jungle, the power of the jungle. I don't really feel like there's words needed there. These two pillars is moving out of separation, is moving out of duality, is moving out of have and have nots, masculine and feminine, right? Even the separation of gender. It's moving into this space of when you have two and you understand that you're both aspects of it, you become a third. So you become a three, which is also the temple, right? And so it's this creativity. So if we're not male or female, what are we? It's like beginning to ask these kinds of questions. That's part of this energy and this chaos. Because where we had a firm foundation, like, no, I'm a woman. I am a woman. Are you? And just by asking those questions, if you're not, or maybe you're more, for me, when I say that to myself, I become aware of more of who I am, something beyond this physical body, right? Because what happens if I am male and female? Or what happens if I'm more male? I mean, that's really what is holding in this energy of the collective consciousness too. A lot of people are experiencing like, wow, I really feel like a man, but I'm a woman, or I really feel like a woman and I'm a man. It's really all meant to kind of shifting our awareness, creating this chaos, shifting our foundation. Powerful, powerful stuff. It's all meant to help us grow. The power of the Jaguar, that is not just the ruler of the underworld and their sort of subconscious or our darker feelings or whatever, because remember, chaos is meant to help us grow and hold more light and higher frequency. But it also is this power. Once you get to a space where you're not just a female, right? Or let's just say you're not just a mother, or you're not just a wife, or there's women, or you're not just a father, or you're not just the breadwinner. If you start breaking down these things and expanding into this idea, so what I'm talking about is our identity of who we are. We have to open this up, right? We have to open this up. It's like, if we're not that, what are we? Once you get into that space where you then are, yeah, okay, I could be male. Yeah, I could be female. What do I choose to be? Right? Then we get into the power of choice, power of creativity. And then even when you really start mastering that within you, you can begin to shapeshift. So then you can, and shape shifting is more of a shamanism term, but it's about being able to manifest instantly your reality. Meaning, and you guys already do this in some aspects of your life where you co-create or manifest a parking spot at the mall, or that it's going to go easy at that meeting, or whatever. You're kind of creating this reality before it begins, right? But let's say you go into this meeting, but you're really insecure. You'd have to face that. You'd have to master your underworld, right? Before you could even get to the place of power to where you can manifest and shift that meeting. And that's where there's power in what's being presented for you. So if there are those triggers, whatever it is, those are there to help you. And once you get that and you learn how to love that, and you learn to love those things and integrate those parts, you get to this place of mastery where you can shape shift, where everybody that sees you loves and supports you, right? You can manifest where people can't see you at all. I mean, that's really the power of Merlin. He really was able to create and manifest anything by mastering himself first. And that is the power of the Jaguar. It's transformation, it's shape shifting, it's owning and loving our darkness. And when we do that, that's when we actually have true power and understand the beauty and the power of love and life. Life. So, in this energy, just noticing that there may be parts of yourself that have a hard time with this chaos or this wildness. And you are being asked to be more wild somewhere. And for each of us, it's going to be in a different space. And you know where you're not so wild because there's maybe some rigidity or resistance or tightness. And that's where our bodies help. You know, if there's tightness in your body, it's showing you maybe in an invisible space where you might not be seeing it here, but your body's trying to tell you, where are you tight? For me, it's in my shoulders. Where are you where is your body talking to you? That's where there's all these clues where we're being asked to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. But we're not alone. We're all in this together, truly. And that's why these events like this are so important. So we can get validation and reassurance and see our family, right? And feel loved, even if it's just for a moment. Because this is here for us always. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. But I always leave a few minutes for questions. So if you guys have questions about what's happening, or that's really what they wanted me to share. So do you guys have any questions? You don't have to. But you feel the silence. You're welcome. Well, I leave you with this then, this silence, and understanding the power of it. And really all that's being said, it's all right here for you. Always. Okay. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining. It really is a blessing to be able to do this and to share. And so thank you. And I'll hopefully be talking to you soon. Namaste.